In many parts of the country, RVs have been quietly tucked away for a long winter's nap. This year's camping season is now just a memory, and the countdown has begun for the next camping season. So now it is just time to wait, or is it? In this episode, we'll look at 5 things you can do during the off-season that will give you a head start to new adventures. Hey everybody, this is John Marucci. Thanks for visiting the On the Road YouTube channel. This channel is all about helping you get the most out of your RV travel experience. Before we get going, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos are published. If you want to dive deeper, we put more content and photos on Instagram and Twitter at John Marucci. So let's go ahead and dive in. Here are 5 things you can do during the off season. Number 1, check in on your RV regularly. This includes going to the storage area where you've stored the RV, or maybe it's next to your house and you just look at it regularly. Make sure you either put it on the calendar, remember to jump out, and look at your RV and check on it. It's easy for issues to go unnoticed when it's not being used, so it's important to go look at your RV regularly off season. You can check for intrusions of any kind, and also remove any accumulated snow if you have some. When you're not in your RV, you don't want anything or anyone else to be in there either. The second thing we're going to look at is to plan trips or reservations for the next season. Now, this is really important. It's difficult to get into some slots unless you plan accordingly. And remember, the people who plan almost always get the best spots. So an example of this is Michigan State Parks, where I'm from. It's difficult to get into the best Michigan State parks, and not only the best parks, but the best slots in those parks, unless you get in the 6 months in advance that you're allowed to. So for example, if you want to go to Ludington State Park and check out the amazing sand dunes and the beach at Lake Michigan and many of the other amenities, you're going to probably have to hop online 6 months before you plan to go. So if you want to snag that perfect site for July 4th, that's right, you got to be online in January 4th to snag it. So remember, the planning has to be done off season. Also, Florida State Parks are an example. They allow you to book 11 months in advance. So if you're wanting to fly south for the winter of next year, you need to plan off-season this year to make sure you get those slots you want. Interesting thing about Florida State Park, some of them even have full hookups, and they're not that expensive. But to grab those full hookup sites, you better be online 11 months ahead of time to do that. It's important if you'll be out during peak time. So again, if you're going to try and get those holiday weekends in the summer, you've got to start planning now. It's also important if you have a larger RV, or if you want to grab those full hookup sites again. So if you have a larger RV, it's even less opportunity to grab sites because most sites for large RVs are few and far between, especially in the cheaper state park areas. It's important, of course, if you want to get those coveted sites along the lakeside or, right next to the mountains. So make sure that you start to plan now. A great thing you can start doing off season is just getting into the planning routine of thinking about your trips coming up. The third thing we want to talk about is to plan or complete any repairs or upgrades that you want to do. This could include things like changing appliances or putting new cushions into your R-Pod or RV. We have a great video on that where we replaced the foam cushion on the R-Pod this last year. And doing things like that are perfect for off-season little projects you can do. Maybe you want to replace your mattress, or maybe you want to do some interior painting or add solar panels to your unit. These are things you can think about now and plan out to try and get done off season so that you can hit the road ready to go when the weather turns nice in the spring. The fourth thing we want to talk about is online purchases of routine items. Now, we do this regularly when you're off season to just think about the things you need to restock. Amazon obviously is a perfect place to do this. Things like water filters or tank treatment or any new hoses. You should almost have a list at this point from the last season to know what things you need to restock, whether they be items that you restock or items that need to be replaced or upgraded. So it's always a good time to think through the things you want to purchase and get those taken care of once again so you can hit the ground running when the weather changes in the spring. Okay, number 5 we're going to talk about is the potential to just fly south for the winter. We have a great review on Disney's Fort Wilderness Campground. Really nice place to go in the wintertime and escape if you can do it. Maybe you're just not ready to actually put the R-Pod or RV up for the season, and you might have the opportunity to travel south. And if you can, I'd highly recommend it. If you can avoid some of the northern weather and take your R-Pod or RV south, it's a lot of fun. And the weather's very nice down there and something to be enjoyed off season. It's also a great way to use your unit when, instead of having it in storage, you're actually able to use it and get more use of it year round. It's a great way to extend the use of your RV during the winter months. Okay, let's talk about one bonus tip here, and that's about taking inventory. This is always a good thing to do regularly, but especially off-season. And the question is your current setup still working for you, or is it time to consider a different option, a different unit? Off-season could be a great time to research to purchase a new RV. And this is an important thing to think about. You may have just gone through a season of using your RPod or RV and realized that, this isn't quite working the way I wanted it to. Maybe it isn't large enough, or maybe it's too large, or maybe the use that you have of it was different than you were thinking, and really what you need is to upgrade or change the RV that you have. So it's a good time to think through those things. Remember, RVtrader.com is a great place to go look and find different units and do some research off-season. So here's the question. Are there other items you do during off-season that help jumpstart the new camping adventures? If so, feel free to share in the comments below. Hopefully this is a great video for you to think through when you're off-season and your camper's in storage. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it. Thanks for watching. This is John Marucci, and so long for now.